engineering activities. So they're kind of recognising here that geoengineering is going on. You know, why would there be a moratorium on it if it's not going on? But then people will say, well, it's a moratorium, it's a suspension on potential things, because they are talking about it, they're officially talking about it, we know that. So people could possibly say that, but anyway, they came up with a suspension. But it was very interesting that of the 193 countries that signed up to that, that the United States wasn't one of them. And this is obviously a majorly important country, especially bearing in mind, say, the patent from the Hughes Aircraft Company in 1991, who, you know, if they got a patent on it, perhaps they are the ones who are really in control and making money out spraying this stuff. Excuse me. Following on from that convention on biodiversity in Japan recently, there was a response by the US House of Representatives, and they did a report called "Engineering the Climate: Research Needs and Strategies for International Coordination." So they're basically, they want to engineer the climate and they want more coordination on it. So you have 193 countries saying we don't want this, and the US is saying, yeah, well, you know, we want more of it and we want to coordinate it more. But interestingly enough, on page 24 of that document, there's a little segment called Aerosol Research. And it basically asks which types of particles are best for cloud condensation. Well, you know, perhaps they should ask the people who were in charge of Operation Popeye in Vietnam. You know, these people should really do some research. Also, recently there was a video up on YouTube, only about 10 minutes, of a guy who went to I can't remember, I think it was in Montana or somewhere, some small aircraft facility out in the middle of nowhere, and he didn't film the guy, but the guy was talking, who was behind the desk, he was talking to someone who was a pilot, and he was admitting to being part of a spraying program, but he said that he was only spraying, what's it called, silver oxide, which is relatively harmless, I believe, to, you know, basically seed the clouds and manipulate the weather. So he thought he was putting something harmless up there. But as we know, with compartmentalisation, a very, very important word, everything is, just think of everything, every business, every whatever it is, charity, organisation, think of it as a pyramid, and you only have a few people at the top who actually know what is really going on all the time. And an example of that is, a big example was the Manhattan Project, which gave us the atomic bomb in 1945 that they dropped, and there were tens of thousands of people involved in that. And this is admitted stuff, this is actually admitted, that it was compartmentalised. People just went in, they did a job, and that's all they did. They didn't ask questions. In fact, I should imagine they probably weren't allowed to ask questions, otherwise they were chucked off the job. Because obviously it was a very big thing that they wanted to keep secret. So compartmentalisation, that pilot probably thinks he's doing a good job. And all those pilots you see up there spraying every day, you think, what are these guys doing? Well, they probably think they're doing a good job. This is the way it works. Also, from that clip I showed you earlier, from the film, which is out at the moment, it's available on YouTube, you can watch it, called What in the World Are They Spraying? At a conference there, the conference was in San Diego this year, and it was a conference of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, sorry. And it stated that there was no program of aerosols that existed at the moment. So they're saying that no, it's not happening. And yet what they discussed, as proposals for, you know, geoengineering, was exactly what is actually happening now. So, you know, coincidence, you know, I don't really believe in coincidences anymore, I'm afraid. Also, there was a guy there, a speaker called David Keith, a geoengineer, and he was challenged by one of the guys who made the film with a question on the effect on human respiration and contamination of the soil with aluminium. And he said, in quotes, "There could be something terrible we find tomorrow that we haven't looked at." You know, well, you know, it's whether you think this is actually going on now or whether they're just proposing it, because they are definitely proposing it. This is absolutely provable. But, you know, it's just obvious to me that they are actually doing it at the moment. There was also something about GMO seeds. Monsanto has patented a seed, I don't know which year it was from, the patent, that is resistant to aluminium. So that, you know, in the future, these guys obviously know what's coming. You know, there's going to be loads of aluminium pollution, crops won't be able to grow, and people will have to rely on their seeds. And this is what the psychopathic corporate mindset is all about, and Monsanto exemplifies that absolutely perfectly. Okay, I'll try and finish up now if I just find my first sheet. Here we go. Okay. All right. So if we just look at the effects on health briefly, part of the, as far as I see it, these chemtrails are one of their. I think it's multifaceted, and one of the aspects is a covert assault on our immune system with the chemicals in there. And general health, along with other things, but there's other things happening in the world, such as depleted uranium, all the depleted uranium that we bombed Iraq with. This is spreading around the world. You know, this is causing cancers all over the world, not just in Iraq, where they're suffering really, really badly. Another thing is, as talked before by Lizzie, was pharmaceutical drugs, vaccines, genetically modified foods which are nutrient deficient, electromagnetic waves from mobile phones, airport scanners, fluoride and aspartame in your food. So this is all a part of the softly, you know, can't be prosecuted for making people ill and dying because it's just a general assault. You know, can you prove to me that chemtrails caused that cancer? Can you prove to me that fluoride caused that cancer? You know, it's very difficult to pin down because they're hitting us from so many different angles. Okay, so finally, what can we do about this? What I would suggest, because it's basically up to you. You know, this is information, as with all this, if you like, conspiracy information. It's up to you to do your own research. It's up to everybody to do their own research. And make your own mind up. You know, I can't tell you what to think, nobody can tell you what to think. But also, you know, authorities can't tell you what to think, so maybe start thinking outside the box a bit more. So do research for yourself, and if you come to the same conclusion as me, just start talking about it to others. And then do something about it. Maybe go out leafleting, recommend films, like the films to watch, like the aerosol spraying. There's various websites, carnacom.com. What was that, Heidi? What was that website you said?
Don't talk about the weather.
Is that a website?
The film.
Oh, it's a film.
Yeah.
A film. Don't talk about the weather.
And Toxic Skies.
And Toxic Skies, okay. There's, I thought I'd written down some other websites, but I've missed them out, unfortunately. I think there's one called 9/11 Contrails, or 9/11 Chemtrails911.com. I think that's another one from memory. So tell people about these and do your own research. But I would also say look at the debunking site contrailscience.com. They do have some very interesting stuff on there. And people, you need to be armed with, you know, what people are going to come back at you with. You know, especially I have some very intellectual friends. I have some people with friends with first degrees from Oxford who think this is a load of crap. And they will always come back with stuff like this. And not that I really like to get into arguments anymore with these people, because, you know, once you make your mind up, generally
just like
you make your mind up.
That's what they like being doing.
Yeah. So anyway, but all you can do is spread information, and then people can make their own mind up. No, I have written it down here, I beg your pardon. I've got globalskywatch.com and lightwatcher.com also. What I would say